Welcome to episode 4 of the Behind the Lens podcast. I'm Madison Sharp, current multimedia editor at The Slate, and is very passionate about visual storytelling and learning from the personal stories of others. Behind the Lens aims to highlight multimedia creators in photography, videography, and everything in between. Today we're going behind the lens with Hayden Highlands, current assistant multimedia editor at The Slate and senior at Shippensburg University. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Longtime fan of the podcast,
Wow,
first time
greatly
guest.
appreciated. So if you want to start by just introducing yourself.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Hayden Highlands. As Madison said, I'm the assistant multimedia director or director editor at The Slate. I do a little bit of everything. I take pictures, I write articles for The Slate. Upcoming, I will be working full-time at Walmart until I land a job in some major city, and then I will be pursuing journalism or photography. I also run I also run a Instagram page, Hayden Highlands Photo.
Shameless plug.
Go follow. And Facebook as well. Go follow.
Facebook too. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Both have one post. We're gonna get those numbers up though.
So just some background. Hayden and we've been working in the multimedia section at The Slate for this past year. First day headshots wore the same shirt pretty much, so that's why we got him on today, just because. And so I wanted to have you on before you graduated. I didn't know you were an avid listener, but now I'm glad that you can get on the pod and talk before you graduate.
We're going to get Drager on here one of these days.
Yes, that's the end goal. Drager, if you're listening, I know you are listening.
He's an avid viewer too.
Yes. Okay, so I know you mainly do photography stuff. We're both visual media concentrations. But when did you kind of start taking pictures? Like, when did that really form as a passion for you?
So I would say I got into it pretty late. I was originally a computer science major when I started at Ship, and that just didn't work out. So I was exploratory for a semester. I bought a camera just as like a hobbyist thing, and I really liked it. I wasn't good at it by any means. I shot on automatic and didn't use manual
Drager,
at all.
you should probably click off now.
Yeah, click off now. But no, then I joined The Slate, and I started experimenting with not doing that. And then I really fell in love with it whenever I took Drager's photography class. I actually felt like confident in what I was shooting. So, yeah, I would say that's when I think The Slate helped a lot too, because I eventually wanted to do articles, and I wanted to write articles and also take pictures. So I got to do that, and that made me, and I got to do galleries too, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like the points of my journey in photography, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I think Drager's photography classes have been a big thing for me too. I mean, he offers so many different kinds of things. So depending on, sorry, something just shut down. That's okay. We're currently in the power outage situation right now. So yeah, it's just a hiccup we have to deal with. Anyway, so yeah, I think his classes are really helpful. I mean, I know were you in sports photography?
No, I wasn't.
I don't know why I thought you were. You're just always, I feel like, in Roland Hall 206.
Yeah, I had just a lot of, I feel like I bounced between that room and the room across from it very often. Yeah.
Which of have you taken any of the extra photography classes or just
basic? I've only taken 3.
We were in basic together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I took basic. I had literacy with Drager, and ethics now, but off topic.
Interesting. Yeah, and we're both in advanced photography right now. And yeah, I think it's fun getting to explore different things. I mean, sports photography was a new class offered last semester, and I know they're offering it again next semester. Yeah, I think it's cool that they're offering kind of specialized classes as well. I know there's change out every year. But what is your favorite thing you think you've taken photos of? It could be here, it could be outside of school.
Favorite thing I've taken photos of, I would say, gosh, top of my mind, I could give you from this year at least. I really enjoyed any of the marches on campus. I enjoy taking pictures of those. I think it's really fun to run around and take pictures, get different perspectives and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like staying in one spot and taking pictures whenever I'm at events and stuff. Also, anything that lures the taiko drum project I took pictures of this year was really fun. I got to get a lot closer to the stage than I did for other Lures events, and they didn't mind me getting into the crowd and taking some pictures, so that was really cool.
That's cool.
All time, though, I mean, I took some pictures when I studied abroad in Japan, so...
We're going to get into it.
Oh, no. My memory is rusty, but I'll try. But, yeah, I mean, you don't need to be able to take a good picture to take pictures in Japan, is my...
Okay, can you expand upon that?
So I shot all those pictures in automatic, but I still have a lot of them, like, because this is before I took any photography classes. This is, like, right as I joined the slate. But a lot of those pictures, they look really good. And you just need to, I think 90% of photography now is just editing, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like I could go back on some of those pictures that aren't even that good, and I could probably fix them up. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it is interesting because, first day of class, I'm pretty sure Drager literally wrote on the whiteboard, like, do not shoot in auto. Because you do lose a lot of creativity and freedom. Like, you can't change your settings and everything. It's just kind of whatever the camera decides for you. But
I do think the one thing that it helped me with is because I come from an art background, so a lot of what I think about automatic shooting is it does take away, like, everything lighting-wise from you, but you really get to focus on your composition, like leading lines and stuff. A lot of things that Drager talks about in his photography classes is that, like, the relationship with light, yeah, it's important, but I challenge. I think that you should go out once in a while and just shoot an automatic and really focus on just composition.
Hot take on the pod.
Maybe do some of those and then change your settings back to manual, mess around with it. I think you could do both.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to, like, once you learn how to use manual, try shooting in both.
I will say I use only manual now, but I think it's an interesting exercise and, like,
yeah,
because that's how I learned, like, leading lines and stuff. It wasn't I originally through, like, painting and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, I definitely, when I got into photography, like, I took a couple photography classes in high school, and my teachers were very much just threw all of us into manual and didn't let us use anything else. And I think that really helped me, like, get the hang of it. I didn't have, like, a crutch for a while shooting in, like, auto, but I definitely think if you're getting into photography, I think learning how to compose your shots and everything, like you were saying, I think, sorry, Dr. Drager, it's not the end of the world. Like, my parents, shout out parents, they take a lot of pictures for my sister's soccer games, and they don't know how to do photography. I've tried to teach them, but they just shoot their little auto. Like, it's fine. Like, if you're just getting into it or you're just doing it for fun, I think you can still be creative in auto.
I will say, I think you grow out of shooting in auto because,
definitely.
Like, if you're shooting sports, for example, I think sports is a good example because there's a lot of fast-moving action in sports, right? So if I'm shooting in auto and I'm like, why are my photos blurry? Well, then I'm going to get into shutter speed and I'll be like, oh, well, why is my photo dark now that I'm messing with the shutter speed? So you got to mess with the ISO, and you got to mess with the f-stop, etc. So, I mean, like, I think eventually you should, like, I'm not saying shoot in auto forever, but I think there comes a time in someone's life where...
Oh, my God. No, I do think at one point you have to, jump out of the nest and try to fly.
Exactly.
Like, that's how you learn in photography.
The proverbial nest. Yeah, you have to.
Exactly. Okay. Anyway, so you're a senior CJM major. Why did you decide to study communications and journalism? I know, like you said, you were originally computer science. When did that, like, did you come into college knowing you were interested in this stuff, and then maybe you thought computer science was just a better, like, path for you, or how did that switch happen?
Yeah, so I have a relative who does computer science, and I try to emulate the successful people in my life, and I was like, oh, I'll just do that because he makes a lot of money. And I thought originally that, like, computer science, well, sorry, not computer science, that communications, that while, yes, I would probably be more fulfilled with that, I wouldn't be able to find, like, employment, So I was at a crossroads really whenever it came to like art and stuff. Like I knew I didn't want to be an art student because sorry artist, but the starving artist stereotype was very much relative relevant in my head. So I was like, okay, don't want to do that. But then I kind of, whenever I joined my exploratory studies class, I really started to focus on like what I like to do. And I was thinking like, I can't go into computer science and be miserable every day, because I was like, there's no creativity in this. The thing I like about taking pictures and journalism and everything is there's so much creativity to it. And if there's not, you just do something else. So like the stories that I take for the slate, I take them because I'm generally interested in them, you know? Or like whenever I have to take a photography assignment, for example, I take things that I wanted to take pictures of anyway. So it's like, I think there's limitless possibilities with it. And also I just enjoy being on the internet in general. So that still gave me like an outlet to be doing like Adobe Suite stuff. I really enjoy sitting down, editing, and actually like putting on music and like just the process of it all, really. So both of those things.
Yeah, definitely. I say this time and time again on this podcast, but I think that's something so special about our field is that there's so much that you can do. Like no matter what concentration you are, you're not stuck in that. Like you can do so many different things. I know like we mainly do the slate and stuff like that, but you know, if we wanted to another semester, sorry, Hayden, not you for this example, but like, you know, if next semester I was like, hey, I want to go try out SUTV or something, I can go do that. And I think that's super cool. And like you said, I think the editing process as well is really fun. It is kind of like, it's a full-time thing. Like I'm always thinking about, oh, what am I going to be taking photos of next? And then while I'm thinking about that, I'm editing photos from the other day. It's just a constant thing. And I honestly, I don't know about you, but I really like that kind of fast-paced like environment, kind of style of this field.
For editing, for me, I never feel like I spend too much time actually editing a photo, you know? Like when I take a picture and it's a good picture and I want to edit it, I have a vision in my head of like what I'm aiming for it to look like. So I never feel like I'm editing a picture. I've never edited a picture for like an hour, but I've never been like, oh, I've taken way too much time with this. I really enjoy the process, which is one of the things that like kept me into photography and trying to expand my skill set and stuff. And then you see other photographers who are like more skilled than you, and like normally, like for hobbies, that would be like, oh, like why am I not doing that? But then for photography, I feel like it's really easy to learn as well. Like whenever you don't have a skill, like I saw Patrick. Shout out Patrick.
Assistant multimedia editor next semester. Shout out.
I saw one of his pictures today, and he had like parts of it that were in black and white, and part of it that was like really colorful. And I was like, oh well, I need to learn how to do that because that looks sick. Yeah. And I've seen that from other people too. And I'm like, the thing that I like about photography is that when I take a picture, I know like how I can edit it. Usually, I can visualize it in my mind. I'm a very visual person, I think. So I think the hobby really goes together, or the career, I should say, goes together well with me. Yeah,
I think definitely, I mean, obviously anybody could pick up a camera and take pictures, but I think certain people do just kind of have an eye for it. And especially as you keep developing like your craft and your style in photography, I feel like, I don't know about you, but if I take a bunch of pictures, I like know like when I'm taking, oh, these are going to be good ones. I can go back. Like I look at it in a second and I can just like millisecond even. I'm like good or bad, and I move on because I just kind of, and maybe that's also because my standards keep getting higher as I keep getting more experience. You know, I expect more like better pictures that I'm taking. But I think once you take it for a while, you kind of have a style and an idea, and it's a really fast process.
Definitely. Yeah, because I mean, when I take a picture and I'm like, oh, like, I don't know, at the Tycho drum project thing. Shout out to Tycho, bro.
They're awesome.
I love that show so much. But when I was taking pictures there, the struggle I have right now is that I have a long lens that doesn't get enough light in. So I really like with photography that when you have a problem with your photo, it's very evident, like, what you can do to fix it. Like, oh, I need to get a 200 that's a f2.8. Right now, mine's like a 5.6 or something. That's fine whenever you're outside, but when you go to lures, you need a 2.8. I'm sorry, hot take, or not even a hot take.
No, that's very valid. Yeah.
But I mean, that's something we can get into is I don't like the prices of stuff I have to pay for photography.
I know. Yeah. I just, I am the biggest supporter of camera raw and denoise on camera raw.
Absolutely. If you're shooting mirrorless,
yes,
use that denoise in Lightroom. Use it in, I don't know if Photoshop has it, but use it. That's like the camera raw stuff, right?
Yeah. It's in
I dabble.
Yeah, it's such a lifesaver, especially because I also do a lot of like performance photography in lures and in other kind of theaters and stuff, and it is such a lifesaver. Like shooting in camera raw, like there are so many pictures you think you're not going to be able to use because it's so dark, and then you just slide it up, and then it looks like you took it like that. But definitely, the prices of camera gear is pretty atrocious. I'll say that. I'm looking to buy a new camera right now, but it's like, do I switch to mirrorless? And then they're so expensive, and then I have to buy an adapter for my lenses and all of that kind of stuff. It's tough.
You got to think about full frame versus cropped. I'm in the cropped circle right now. I will say mpb.com, if I could be sponsored by any photography, whatever, mpb.com, get your cheapest gear possible. Everything I've ever gotten out of there has been perfect. Down to the description of what it says. You can get like used stuff. It'd say like scratches on the outside, and then like the lens would be perfectly fine. And mine gets so dinged up already. I'm just like, yep, okay. Yeah. Scratches on the outside, fine.
Yeah.
I keep the glass pristine though. It's so it's fine.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely do recommend buying used stuff because you can see like what the shutter count is. You can kind of get an idea of what state it's in. But I do think buying used is probably the best bet. Okay, so talking a little bit more about the slate. I guess, can you tell me a little bit about your background in like student media and the slate? I remember last year when we kind of took on our new roles in multimedia, I remember Jaden, our editor-in-chief, she asked how many of us were seniors, and when I saw your hand shoot up, I was like, no way, he's leaving. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know why I thought you were in my year. Maybe it's just like the twin telepathy. I don't know. Telepathy. But I guess since you had been there for 2 years before I got there, like what was your kind of background in student media or the slate? Like what was your involvement before?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously my first year, first semester, I'll back it up just to make the timeline make sense. But first semester, I was a computer science major, and then I switched to exploratory in my second semester. So freshman year, just eliminate that. Wasn't even didn't even know the slate existed practically.
Wow.
Sophomore year, officially switched to the slate. Started going to meetings. First semester, I can't tell you if I definitely didn't write. I can tell you that. I may have taken some pictures. You could check the archives for this, but I may have taken some pictures in auto back in my sophomore year. So that would have been, gosh, I don't know.
So long ago.
So long ago. So I knew about the slate, obviously. I went to meetings, but I wouldn't say I was particularly active. I mean, I did enough to not get kicked out. So
hey,
junior
good.
year, I would say first semester, I definitely contributed more. Then I went on my study abroad trip, got into shooting a lot more. I think that helped a lot, just developing my confidence with, like, I think if you can, travel to Japan and get your confidence up in photography. It makes it really easy. But then came back. Then I was like, okay, I'll go for leadership positions. So, threw myself into multimedia and, just, crucial step in the journey. I was in a Spanish class, and a extra credit was go to a lecture on campus for it was like a speaker I think it's Javier Avila. I don't want to butcher his name because that's like literally the whole point of his talk is that people mess up his name. So I did so I wrote for the first time there, and that was really fun. I wasn't expecting to get an interview with him, but I actually got to interview him after his talk.
Oh, nice.
I was originally going to interview some students, but I feel like every time I interview a student, I'm like, did you like the event? And then they're like, and I'm like, okay, can't use this. So
Yeah.
I went up to him, and he had like a 10-minute talk with me, and I recorded it, wrote everything down, and it came out as a really good article that I was proud of. So then after that, I wrote a few more times, and I was like, okay, I think if I can write and take pictures at events, I can probably like at least try and do gallery stuff. And then that worked out, and I guess that's how I'm here now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I relate to that. I feel like when I came into the Slate, I did not have any experience writing for a newspaper or anything like that. I just knew photography. And so I know my first semester I was always like, oh, like I want to start writing, but like maybe I'll start next semester. That's like scary. It's nerve-wracking, having to go interview people and not knowing like how to format everything, inverted pyramid, all that stuff. But then I went and wrote my first article, and I think just once you go do it, I think it just, you learn kind of a formula. Obviously, every story is different, but it gets a lot quicker and you get more confident.
You really get a feel for it. I mean, it's doing what you like, too. Like, I really like writing for lures because, like, inverted pyramid makes it's so easy. Like, I don't know, once you do your first, obviously, it's a little bit different. But, and copy takes so much of the weight off my shoulders. I don't have to think about where a comma goes. I mean... Spell check will do me a pretty good job, but copy gets me all the way there. Yeah. I look at my articles after they get posted, and I'm like, yeah, they worded it way better than I did.
Copy editors.
Thank you, copy editors.
Slate would not function without them.
The multimedia writers would not.
No. Okay, so yeah, like we've talked about, you're assistant multimedia editor this year. Why do you think it's important for students to kind of take on leadership roles, like specifically in our department? I mean, you can talk about your own experience and how it's benefited you, or you can just talk generally.
Specific with multimedia, I think that you really get a better understanding because you're not just editing your own photos. You get to edit other people's and see like how they shot it. I think it's interesting because we get such like a spread of people from our department. Some people will send us raw photos, some people will send us JPEGs. We don't really have a set policy on that, but it's interesting to look at the pictures and be like, oh, okay, that's how they shot it. What can we do to really bring out what they had in mind whenever we're taking like sometimes a picture will just be like overexposed, bring it down a little bit, and then that's all I need to do to it. Sometimes it's literally perfect. All to do is just reformat it, send it in. But I don't know. I think it's great for students because you get to format, like, I love making galleries. I love, like, brainstorming what exactly we're going to do for a gallery. I love seeing my name on the page. I don't know if that's, like, what do you call it? Like, narcissistic to say that.
I don't think so.
I love whenever I'm, like, heavily featured in a page. Like, I really, like, I was active this week. I don't know. Something about it, like, I think it's good for your portfolio, too. I made a portfolio I'm really proud of. I mentioned that in my senior thing. Go read it. It was shout out.
SlateOnline.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I really am proud of the work that I've done in the Slate. I think that certainly, I mean, you can always do more, but I think that leadership positions give you a good base to you get in contact with other people too. Like when I was setting up my portfolio, I had all of the pictures obviously, but I went to Jaden and I went to Megan and I was like, hey, what portfolio site did you use? Because I don't even know where to start. And they were like, yeah, journal portfolio, get the second tier plan. And I was like, perfect. Yep. This is what connections are meant for because it took so much stress off of me. All I had to do was buy the subscription and make the site, just drop my photos in. Yeah, so.
That's one of the things I love about the Slate too. It's like, it's such a great community there. Like we're all doing the same thing. We're all taking at least the CJM majors, we're all taking the same classes, so we can always ask people like what they're doing or look at each other's portfolio and like see what's going on. I know I started making mine on journal portfolio too.
Shout out
journal. But yeah, also about, I guess, just multimedia. I think what you were saying about editing other people's pictures, I haven't really thought too much about it, but it is kind of cool. Like, I guess it's a different kind of, I guess, puzzle you have to put together. That's what I think photography is, and like galleries and everything. It's like, you know, when you're taking the picture, you have complete control, but when you're editing someone else's, it is really interesting to kind of like see like, oh, how can I try to, you know, like elevate this in any way or make it, I don't know, just like
it's formatting it to the page too, because like sometimes when you, not to get into the specifics, but like whenever you're shooting an event, what's that? It's the NPR. The NPR that always has the pinkish lights and stuff. When you convert it to like CMYK and stuff, it really pops out on the page and makes some colors like I saw my sign that had the words on it that you couldn't read in the one gallery, and I was like sometimes you just can't do anything for a photo, but you can make other people's photos. I think it's you have a chance to like take a photo and like mess around with it, and then eventually you're gonna make a product that you really like. So I think that that's something cool about it.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, today, the day we're recording this, is our last print edition just came out today. Multimedia. We had 2 pages. We did a little recap gallery for each of the sections, and it was a lot to do. It was a lot looking back at a year worth of pictures. But I think what's really cool about the gallery process is that I feel like people who maybe don't do multimedia might have a misconception that we're just dragging and dropping pictures onto the page. But I think it's a lot more than that. I mean, the gallery, like oftentimes, everyone looks at the front page, but then, you know, a lot of people are going to flip it over and look at the back. And so the gallery is probably one of the main pages that people look at in the paper. And I think it's a lot more than that. It's learning InDesign. I know there's a stereotype that multimedia people don't know how to use InDesign. We're learning.
If you want to learn InDesign, I highly suggest the magazine class. They only offer it like once every 2 years, but it really helped me. I really like how magazines are like, I like the layout of how magazines look, and that's kind of what I try to emulate whenever we do gallery stuff, is like, I like the cutout of people. I really like how sports does it, actually, where they'll just like cut them out and throw them on the page.
Yeah.
I think we have one of the most like creative, not to brag or anything, but we have like we have a lot of chances to be creative on our page.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is just like not throwing stuff in boxes, but like at least making the layout where it flows, because that's what magazine design is, from what I learned from that class, is you want to make your page flow, and that's an art in and of itself. I think photography is obviously an art, and I think page layout just as much of an art. I think really all of the things that we do as CJM majors, writing, taking pictures, doing layout, it all has a flow to it. It's all, and they're all very distinct. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a lot of room to be creative. And also, you know, that's why I'm doing this podcast as well. I think it's cool to get some video content, because, you know, like multimedia, we're the gallery. Like this is a gallery of photos. Shout out slateonline.com. But also the website component's a big part as well. And I know next year we're having some goals to get more video content on the website, even just like taking a camera to an event. Like you said, you like photographing marches, like getting a camera on a tripod, recording while you're taking pictures, like that kind of stuff. I guess do you want to talk a little bit about video? Is that something you'd ever like? Is that something you do now? Something you want to do?
Yes, I've dabbled with video in the past. I do want to get more into it. I think that editing with videos, obviously, it's a little bit more involved depending on obviously the length of your videos, what you're shooting. There's a lot more variance to it than, I would say, photography. I could get a photo shoot done extremely fast. Whenever whenever, like, compared to video, obviously, I'm cutting stuff. I've messed around with live stream stuff too. This is prehistoric Hayden Highlands lore. I used to run an esports club in my high school, and we used to live stream our like tournaments and stuff. So I would be editing those VODs and stuff, and I don't know. I think that process is really cool, but there's a lot of moving parts to, obviously, like a podcast even. Anything really creative-wise has a flow to it. I'm not really in the podcast flow, so to speak, but I think it's something that I would mess around with in the future. One of the things that concerns me with cameras is always there's like a record limit, right? So that's something that I think about. But yeah, I think it's interesting because obviously as a comm journ student, you want to be well-rounded. If I had the chance, if I could go back and do anything in my college career, I think I would, because I took the production class with broadcast, and I really liked broadcast. It just didn't fit into my schedule, unfortunately. So shout out Walmart, dishonorable mention. But yeah, the SUTV folks are great too. So I mean, a lot of them are graduating, I know too. So
yeah.
That's one thing I would say, is if you could do anything on campus is to get involved with multiple student media groups if you can help it. Yeah, that's what I had to say about video.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you, getting involved in multiple groups. I mean, I'm Slate, like, through and through. But, you know, like I said, that's why I'm doing the podcast. It's very, like, important to be well-rounded, and video editing it's a lot, and if one little thing goes wrong, your entire footage that you worked so hard on could all be gone. And so that's, a little bit of a difference from photography. But yeah, I think it is really important to kind of, well-round yourself. So I asked Jaden this when she was on, and I feel obliged to ask you as well. Canon, Sony. Let's talk about it. You go ahead.
Okay, just go. Okay, so let me back up to why I bought a Sony in the first place.
He has points.
I do. So, obviously, whenever I started shooting stuff for the Slate, I don't know why, I was so paranoid, so anxious that like people would notice my camera out in public, that I didn't want people to hear the shutter. So I shot with a Sony a600 that doesn't have silent shutter, and I was like, there's certain situations, like if you're at a lecture or something and somebody's talking, nobody's pausing for applause or anything, there is no time where people aren't going to hear your shutter and everybody's going to look at your camera.
It's very humbling.
So having the silent shutter is like perfect for that, because I can shoot the entire event. Now, I mean, there's cons to that. Like, you get, like, the electric shutter, whatever it's called in your photos. Sometimes you got to edit that out. But for a photographer that is, like, so nervous that everybody in the room is going to look at them, it's great. Another thing is they're small, too, obviously. Minus points for mirrorless Sonys in that, obviously, if you're shooting APS-C, you're going to have trouble switching your lenses eventually. That's one of the things I'm struggling with.
Sorry, what is that? Sorry, can you translate for Canon? I don't know what that is.
Oh, APS-C? It's like a crop sensor. So, like, I'm trying to think of, like,
That's not just a Sony lingo you just threw at me, or is it?
No, because, I mean, Canon has, like, I think, like, the M50 is a mirror.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's a crop sensor, too. It's just, like, yeah, it's just, like, it's like a 1.5 crop factor when you have smaller sensor. So, like, if I put on like a 75 millimeter lens, it's going to be like equivalent to like a 105 or something. So that's something that you have to kind of adjust to, because sometimes you don't get the shot that you want. I will say, as much as I love Sony, there are some critiques that I have. Like, for example, I had it and it's gone. Okay.
That's okay.
Man, what is it? It was a big one. I'm blanking. Okay.
Lightweight, maybe?
Lightweight. No, it wasn't that.
Mm.
I'm thinking.
I'm just trying to think of anything Sony related I know they're pretty good for, like, night photography, right?
Yeah. If you have a full frame, I highly recommend the Sony full frames, although I haven't had a chance to shoot on them yet. I've seen some amazing night photography pictures, and I love shooting at night, but as APS-C, like, smaller camera person, it sucks because you don't have the megapixels to work with, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll make the full frame switch one day, but for now we're stuck with the APS-C, which is serving me well. But I have no gripes with Canon. It's the shutter thing for me, I think, and I've grown out of that now too, because like I go to a sports event, I'm there, people see me, it's whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. When you're a beginner photographer, sometimes you don't want to be perceived. Nobody perceived me. Now I'm like, I'm so into it. I'm like, okay, perceive me in an event. I'm gonna be the writer for an event too. You're gonna see my work on the page anyway. So like, I don't know. I think it was kind of an interesting thing that got me into Sony, but that's just what was there at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we each have our respective brands. I don't have any hate for Canon for Sony or Nikon. I've just always used Canon. That's just like the first camera I got, and so I kind of just stuck with it. I feel like that often happens to people. They just get used to it. Like, I know Jaden and I were also talking about this, but the language on like each kind of different brand is so different. And like, if I picked up a Sony right now, I'd be the worst photographer you've ever seen because I just don't know how it works.
That's the thing too, is that I'm so like adjusted to the interface now on my Sony. But when I grew up, I was watching a lot of vloggers who would have Canons. So I really wanted a Canon like 80D, Canon 90D. My inspiration, shout out my inspirations.
A lot of shout outs on this episode. I love it.
I love the term shout out and then literally anything. So shout out Casey Neistat, the prehistoric YouTube vlogger, if anyone remembers him. David Dobrik, I don't know what he's doing now. Probably on Snapchat or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of vloggers when I was in like middle and high school. So I was like, okay, maybe one day I'll get a camera. And then I remember Casey Neistat switched to Sony, and I was like, well, I didn't know Sony made cameras. They look pretty cool. And so that was always in the back of my mind. But yeah, I mean, I think all of those things, I think how you come up a lot is what plays a factor into a lot of your decisions. Like, I could sit here and be like, yeah, I chose Sony, but I really think it was just like a lot of factors out of my control too, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I also think, I know you were just talking about like watching like vloggers when you were younger and stuff. I think it is like when you're a kid, I mean, I didn't get into photography until like junior year of high school. But I think like watching like videos and stuff like that, I know I used to make like little videos just with like my sister and stuff when I was little, but I think being exposed to that kind of stuff, I mean, social media is like a whole other conversation that we don't need to get into, but I think there's just so much you can do with it, and I think just like consuming content helps you be creative a lot because you learn a lot from other people.
Yeah, I mean, like consuming content, like I get a lot of my ideas just from watching like movies and stuff, so like definitely, like especially if you're gonna like start doing content, I have a lot of friends who like have like small YouTube channels. Shout out Alex Fletcher. Shout out he has like my friend Alex does this horror podcast with his wife, and it's awesome. So I think like when you watch movies and stuff, and when you're just, I think reviews are really cool. Really, I like anything creative where you can just get your hands on it and make it your own. I think is so cool because everybody has something to say. Everybody has their own opinion. Shout out Matthew Scalia.
Ooh, Matt mentioned.
Yeah, I had to mention him before he graduates. We're mentioning everybody on the podcast today, but yeah, everybody has their own opinion, and to express it creatively is something even cooler. Like I could sit down and type my opinion out, but if I have like a picture, if I have an event to go to and I give my opinion on it, I think that means a little bit more to me. I don't know. I think like when I'm creative, I want to express the full extent of my creativity. I want to feel like I left everything out there. And it's like, not to say like I'm gonna look back on work that I've done now in a few years and be like, oh, well, I'm doing better now. It's like, oh, I was doing everything I could then, and I'm doing everything
Yeah.
I can now. Like, as long as I continually push the needle and like strive to do better things, then there's nothing else to do. You know?
I think that's a great mindset to have. I mean, in every field, but especially in ours, especially with photography and stuff, I feel like we can very easily be very critical on ourselves. And, you know, think about even stuff I did a couple months ago. Like, I only started shooting camera raw, like, this past January. And so I look at stuff I even did last year, and I'm like, oh, if only she knew. If only she knew the wonders of camera raw, like, I would have been whatever. But I'm like, hey, that's all I knew at that time, and I was doing the best I could. And so I think that's really great.
Yeah, you could have not been shooting at all. So.
Exactly. Keep taking pictures. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Okay. Shift. Let's talk about Japan. This was kind of confidential information for a while for us on the staff. We were doing our multimedia presentation, and Hayden just subtly dropped that he studied abroad in Japan, left all the jaws on the floor. Do you want to just talk a little bit about this experience, like what got you interested in it?
Yeah, so I would say my interest in Japan, I guess, started when I was in middle school. My friend Jaden, shout out Jaden, why am I blanking on Jaden's last name?
Not Jaden Pullman.
Not Jaden Pullman. Jaden Courtney, not Jaden Courtney that goes to the school, former SU graduate. So he got me into anime when I was in middle school, and I'd watch videos on Japan, and I was thinking about study abroad opportunities whenever I got here, because in sophomore year I was really debating on whether or not I had just switched over to CJM, and I wasn't sure if it was exactly for me, still working out like the very basics, like inverted pyramid style, getting comfortable with writing and stuff. And then I thought about, I should study abroad and, at least make my experience in college worth it in some way if this isn't for me, because I really didn't have the ability to switch majors again. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do something fun. So I was like, thought of Japan, and I was like, went to Mary Burnett. She was like, yeah, you can do that. And I was like, okay. So I got my passport, and I went there during a summer, and the Japanese summers are brutal. They're so hot. But I had so much fun there. I met so many good friends that I still have contact. To this day, I did a paper with my one friend, shout out Robert, if you're watching. We actually endured a typhoon together while we were in Japan, and all of our classes got shifted to online for like a week. So
wow.
We wrote a little paper for DC's class about that. But yeah, I mean, I had a great time there. The food is so good. I have a friend who's in Japan right now studying. He does music stuff. So I've just been shooting him. Texts like, "Hey, go to this ramen place that I like." Send,
and then
so
cool.
The next day I see that he sends me pictures, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, memories." So it's really cool. Like when you study abroad, I feel like the connections never end. I feel like I could navigate Japan presently to this day. So
that's really awesome.
It's like a vacation. They say it's not like a vacation, but it is. It's like
yeah.
Sometimes you need a vacation. You need a long vacation. I need a long vacation. So that's a little bit of it.
What kinds of classes were you taking? Like you were CJM at this point, right?
Yeah, I was CJM. I took 2 classes. That's how I only have 3 right now. Shout out CIEE. That's the provider that I went through. But I had a Japanese film class. So actually it was like film and pop culture. So I would watch, we basically watch films and talk about like themes and how they relate to like Japan's pop culture is obviously very different. They have different like cultural norms. So it was kind of like the ethnic studies classes we have here. A little bit different, but still very cool. Something I enjoyed a lot. And then, oh man, what was the other one? Oh, it was Japanese religion. That was a really cool class to learn about. It was basically a history class, religion and art, I should say. So we went to this art museum, and it was really cool. I learned a lot about like the different types of paintings, and obviously shrines there have different meanings, like different motifs and stuff. So, yeah, I think I just really got to enjoy a different culture, and I'm really grateful for the experience. Like, I think hands-on work is so important. I think that's why I like photography so much. I don't know if maybe that had anything to do with why I'm still doing photography, but I feel like if you can take what you have in the classroom and then apply it to like something like actually physical, and then you have that thing with you forever, then I think that's why I like photography. Like, whenever I went to Drager's first photography class and I got to print out my pictures, and I still have those pictures.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I wish I got to print for advanced, but at the same time, like, printing is such a pain. But like, I don't know, physical things mean a lot to me whenever I get to like hold on to them and they're mine, you know, like I created this. I think that's really cool.
No, I'm the same way, and that's also why I love doing the slate so much, because I love like seeing the physical paper at the end. It's like my favorite part. Okay, well, I guess wrapping up now, you are graduating in, what is it?
Like 10 days.
10 days. That's crazy. I guess, you know, if there's anything you want to say, like, what are you taking away from your 4 years here?
Well, I've kind of said this before, but I'll say it again. I think if you're going to sit around, and this doesn't just apply to CJM majors, this applies to every major, and I don't know why I thought this when I went into college. If you're going to sit around and just pad your GPA, just do assignments, I really think you're missing out. I think there's a whole community at college. I know a lot of people myself. Like, I'm from Shippensburg, so I was like, I kind of take for granted the community that's here, but like, when you have a community of people at a college and you're like a commuter, I think for commuters it's hard, but I think clubs and like just finding your like tight-knit group of people and then trying to connect outside of that is probably the most beneficial thing that I can take away from college. I think if I were to do it all again, I would structure my schedule a lot better. I think they really hammer down on that in Univ 101 about getting your schedule right, and it's entirely for you. It's you need to get your schedule down just so you can like, people want to be able to work, and like I work a part-time job, so you want to be able to, you know, provide for yourself, and then you want to be able to take your classes, have a good GPA, and outside of that have social time to connect, build up your LinkedIn or whatever, you know, get your connection of people, and then you're going to feel fulfilled if you can manage your time correctly. I think a lot of people struggle with that. That's what I would have done. If I had one thing to share with like somebody who's starting college, is that.
Yeah, 100%. Is there anything else you want to add? Any last parting message before you graduate that you want to let people know?
The multimedia section is in good hands with Patrick Crean.
Yes.
I know y'all are going to do great work.
Shout out Kira. I know Kira
Shout
probably
out Kira.
watching this. She's going to be multimedia editor.
She's going to put Patrick in his place.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm just excited to see what y'all create next semester, and I think I'm going to be watching. It's not going to be like I'm gone, because I'm going to be watching the podcast. I'm going to be
Shout out Behind the Lens.
I'm going to be reading the paper online as much as I can. I think that, what was the quote, is like, your college doesn't stop whenever you graduate. It stops whenever you stop talking to the people that you went to college with. So I think that's what I take away from it. I had a great time here at Shippensburg University, and I'm coming to grips with the time that time is over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can only imagine. But
2 years. It's not that far away.
I know. It's crazy. I'm halfway done. But, yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck and everything. I'm sure we'll stay in contact. But I appreciate you for coming on the pod. So that will conclude today's episode. This has been the Behind the Lens podcast. Thank you for listening, and be on the lookout for future episodes.
Bye now.